ability, because nobody wants to be around negative vibes, negativity 24/7. People want to be around people who are bringing ideas, solutions, and positive mindset change. But if we're surrounded by brain rot and we're surrounded by negative energy 24/7, it's not going to bring us towards our goals, and it's not going to uplift us as a community.
Very beautiful way of saying this, Afu. What I would like us to look at is, like you've rightly explained, when you project negativity, you may feel comfortable in your own self, but you are not doing any justice. And so the reality then becomes we must be able to leverage our skills and talents and showcase what we can be able to offer. And so if you take a young Kuda, for example, instead of using their skills to just create viral content, they could develop an app that helps local farmers predict weather patterns, which is an example that help local farmers enhance their agricultural productivity. And so the kind of project not only aids the community, but also builds the Kudas portfolio in a meaningful way, which means if you are doing sowing, you are doing work that turn agricultural waste into fuel briquettes, into fertilizer. Start to project what you do. So, Afula, let's take me to this point, which is an aspect before I hand over to you that I think we need to look at. And let me start off from this dimension that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. This was said by Gandhi. He put it very clearly. So, could you explain how somebody who is watching us now and has been viral on social media for wrong reasons can reshape his or herself to be on the right path?
Yeah, so I think we just need to think about short-term pain, long-term gain. And this is
Absolutely.
very prevalent because although, like, let's say the saying, it's, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. If you're posting something about like insulting people, being basically a hater, a troll on the internet, although it may feel good right now because you're getting like 100,000 likes, upvotes, everything. In the next few years, when you're applying for a job, will it really be beneficial? No. But if you put your head down, lock in, focus, post stuff that are related to your brand, post stuff that uplifts others, post stuff that builds value and creates solutions, then although it may be hard now, in the future, it'll definitely pay off. People will look at you and like, wow, you're a solutions creator rather than wow, you're a problem person.
Excellent. Perfect. Over to you, Afu.
Yeah, so this is the part of the show for those of you guys who are first watching where I get to interview and I get to pose questions to Dr. Manang. So my first question is, how do you think within the continent and within the world social media can be used to build value? Because a lot of people see social media, a lot of people scroll on reels, they don't see things that are mainly solution based, they see entertainment, which is good, but how come there's a fine line between entertainment and clout chasing? And how can you say that we can focus rather on solution building and hence entertainment and creating, because entertainment is value, right? Because we find it funny, but where's the fine line between jokes for fun and bullying, which is clout chasing?
Yeah, very important point. I mean, the reality is that if you look at these social media spaces, they were created for people to interact, and human beings are conversational beings that can communicate negative as well as positive, and can share ideas, both negative as well as positive. What has become, which is really the nature of human beings, is, as we say, bad news travels further than good news, and therefore negativity seems to have traction. And given the fact that social media platforms, especially Facebook and others, have started monetizing, people want to get more views and more likes, and therefore they focus on what can trend rather than on what can be able to add value to people's lives. And because human nature tends to move towards what seems like negativity, the negative news seems to have overshadowed the social media space. So, what needs to happen is that these negative aspects do not last long. And that is one thing that everybody needs to understand. You can have fame, but destroy your name. And your biggest asset is your name. And therefore, being famous for 5 minutes or for 5 days or for 5 months to then destroy your name for 5 years or for 50 years, which one will you choose? And so, leveraging the social media space to then be able to build value, regardless of whether you have views or not, to be remembered that you did brought in something new, which was not easy because negativity always trumps positivity. It doesn't mean that people are not looking for positive solutions. And therefore, when we bring what we can offer, what we do, how we turn problems into opportunities, how we turn challenges into opportunities, how we can then be able to pivot away from the mainstream narratives that are easy, which is of blaming, of complaining, to now of doing, of showcasing that it has been done, then we would have not only touched lives, but we'll be setting a precedent that others can then be able to follow. And so to answer your question in a nutshell, let's bring value. And that value should be to drive positivity, not negativity. That value should be to showcase what we do to turn challenge into opportunities, not what we do to create problems.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Turn challenges into opportunities rather than to turn challenges into amplified problems. And my next question for you is, how do you think with this digital space, one, with clout chasing being so prevalent, what would you say to young people who just want to get famous, who just want to have their name known? Because like you said, your name is your biggest asset. So what would you say to people who are trying to get their name known, no matter the case, whether it's clout chasing, whether it's solution, they just want to be known? What would you say?
Yeah, what I've learned in my entire career is that a name is not necessarily just a name, it is what is behind the name. Richard Munang is not just a name, it is what does that name carry. And as a result of that, it means that you must be able to put something that your name can be identified with. When you put